Hello my friends, it's Tom Hatsis, your entheohistorian, and this is Ayahuasca Witchcraft Night 3 with Gaia. This was the third night of a 3-night-long ayahuasca ceremony. Now by this point, my mind and body had already been deeply opened by the previous nights of ecstatic witchery. Each night had gifted me a sacred word. The first night, that word was forgiveness. That came from Circe. The second night, Hecate gifted me the word choice. And Gaia gave me the third word on that third night, which I'll discuss in a moment. Before we get started, if you're into this kind of content, please give this video a like and a share, subscribe to the channel, and find me on Instagram at tom.hatsis. That night, the ceremony space was electric. Lit by candlelight and filled with the sacred icaros of the facilitators, the dome where the ceremony took place was shining like a jewel in the forest. Hoping not to have a repeat of the lull that took place the night before when I couldn't even get to hyperspace, and if you don't know what I'm referring to, check out my earlier video, Ayahuasca Witchcraft Night 2 with Hecate. Anyway, to avoid that whole thing happening again, I took a very large initial dose. I mean, the facilitator kind of looked at me cross-eyed when, he poured it out, and I was like, get a little bit more in there, and he was like, oh, okay, and, he did, and the thing is, look, I trust the sacrament. I trust Gaia, so taking large doses, I mean, it just means I'm going to get to the goddess realm quicker, really. So now, as the journey began, the visuals were really intense, of course, because I took that large dose, so hyperspace was like, it was crazy. There was swirly fractals, and the colors and the kaleidoscopic geometries, for lack of a better way of putting it, I mean, they were all over the place. It was really intense. But they began to transform into something much deeper, okay? They became gems and emeralds and diamonds and rubies. Those colors, those jeweled colors, then melted into the goddess realm. And that's when she appeared. Gaia, Magna Mater, Utero Omnium, the womb of us all. We were surrounded by angels, or at least I perceived them to be angels. I don't know if that's what they would actually call themselves, but they seemed like angels to me. In any event, there were hundreds of them, like all over the place. It was insane. I mean, insane in like the best way possible. Gaia reached for my heart with this luminous light and embraced it. And then she pulled out from my heart the center, the core of the pain of my inner child. It looked like a helpless newborn, and so we stood side by side, Gaia and me, and I mean, she was just this luminous light standing beside me. We were cradling my inner child in both of our arms. Well, she had like light arms, but for lack of a better way of putting it, her arms. That little child, I should clarify, it wasn't that it was just me, so to speak, but it was a patchwork of all my traumas and pain from childhood and all the kinds of stuff that we all go through, but it had all sort of coalesced into this one little baby-looking thing that we were both holding. As we floated in stillness in the goddess realm, holding this little patchwork child of my traumas, one of the angels that I took to be the Archangel Michael, but I'm not totally sure, but he came up behind us and literally enveloped us in his wings. So there I was, wrapped in angel wings, standing beside, well, not really standing, but more like floating in the goddess realm, but, floating beside Gaia, holding the embodiment of all my wounds. It was the most beautiful and most powerful moment of my entire life. Now let's just back up a sec real quick, because believe it or not, it gets more interesting than that. Earlier that day, on the drive to the ceremony, I was with my fiance, and she had asked me, as we were driving along the highway and there were all these beautiful trees, and she was like, what do you think the consciousness of a tree is like? And hell if I know what the consciousness of a tree is like. I didn't know. Yet, that night, I got my answer. After that beautiful moment with Gaia and Michael, or who I assumed to be Michael, I walked outside the dome to relieve myself. And as I stood there in absolute bliss, still taking in the Icaros emitting from the dome, a tree smiled at me. No, like for real, the tree smiled at me. And, well, I smiled back. I could feel its pulse, its natural intelligence humming beneath the surface of bark and roots. It wasn't metaphorical. It was experiential. We were in communion. I could hear the forest singing. The grass, the dirt, the leaves, the branches, the trees, the clouds, everything around me was singing. But the gifts of spiritual realities kept coming. After drinking in the radiant song of the natural intelligence of the forest, I made my way back into the dome and laid back down on my mat. One of the facilitators came over to me. His presence was so grounded and gentle, and I mean, really, the word I'm looking for here is sacred. I mean, he just had this sacredness to him. And he started to sage me. He had this little incense burner in one hand and a feather in the other, and he'd been going around the dome, just sort of saging people with copal, and it was awesome. So he was saging me, and I didn't say thank you back, but I just put my hand over my heart and, went like this, and he got that I was saying thank you. I mean, when you're in that space, you don't need words all the time. It's just meaningful gestures are enough. But then something really, really, really cool happened. The facilitator walked away to go sage some other people, and his soul was still there, saging me. Like, it was like this translucent version of himself that was still connected to his body walking away. And he just kept saging me, and I was like just blown away. I was looking at this guy's soul as his soul is saging me. And so I did the same thing. I said, thank you. And his soul went, thank you back to me, and then turned, walked, and returned to his body. It was like the coolest thing. Now, not long after, I got the urge to dance. Dancing on ayahuasca is one of my absolute favorite things to do. And the Icaros were so lively and energetic that I seriously, I couldn't even help myself. I mean, it's the presence of the goddess. She just fills you. So I was dancing with my fiance and just flowing with her body and dancing with her in the goddess realm. I mean, it was bliss incarnate. Watching her move, and it was just like I should say real quick, my fiance is a dancer, and so just watching her move, I mean, it was like, I felt like it was just this form of divine worship, just getting to experiencing her movements in the goddess realm. It was just, it was so beautiful, so beautiful. I then returned to my mat because the music started to slow down a little bit, and I closed my eyes and rejoined Gaia. Then it happened. She whispered the sacred word that she had for me, and that word was repair. I felt it land in my heart when she said that. The pain inside me wasn't mine alone. Like the pain of my little child, the traumas of that little kid, they're not mine, okay? These are global issues. I mean, I just happen to be one vessel of it, but these are global issues. Wounds across the entire world, passed down and buried. But with her guidance, with Gaia there, I could finally face it. I could finally see it for what it was. For lack of a better word, psychic poison in the heart of my inner child, I mean, it was transformed into the light of Gaia's love. Love is stronger than poison. Love transmutes poison. That is the true alchemy. Now, I do have to say, my heart does break for those who have never tasted this. For those locked in sterile materialism, who can't feel Gaia, who dismiss the spiritual realm, who treat divinity as a delusion. Look, my heart isn't judging. It's grieving. I genuinely feel bad for anyone that will never get to have this kind of experience. After the ecstasy comes the integration. The other participants and I, we danced together. We cried as we hugged each other. We apologized to each other. We laughed. We repaired. All of us together. My friends, my beloved, my community, and what might have been the deepest teaching of all. Healing doesn't always happen in isolation. sometimes healing is a collective act. So putting all of the pieces together, here was the lesson of that weekend. And of course, since it's a sacred and timeless lesson, it's actually much easier than we make it out to be. First, forgiveness from night 1. Forgiveness heals the past. Second, choice from night 2 with Hecate. Choice empowers the present. And third, that night with Gaia, repair builds the future. So that was the Trinity, the sacred lesson of that weekend. Gaia is real. The goddess is alive. Natural intelligence is all around us, and we can participate in that intelligence, in that joy, in that beauty, in that communion, if only we could just get out of our own way long enough to do so. If you don't think that there are sacred forces at work, just look all around you. It's everywhere. It's in this bookshelf. It's in every page of this book. Every spot of ink, it's there. It's in the seat I'm sitting in. It's in the screen that you are looking into right now. It's all of it. It's everything and all of us all together. And Gaia will be found there with her gentle touch and that ecstatic feeling that she just imbues your soul with. And the dancing and just the primitive howling of it all. It was just bliss, and it was absolutely perfect in every single way. So if you've ever doubted the spiritual dimensions that can be opened through sacred medicines, I hope this video at least a little bit causes you to reconsider that. Well, that's all I have for you this time, and I'd love to thank you for stopping by. Please give this video a like and a share, subscribe to the channel, and I can't wait till see you on Instagram. Find me there at tom.hatsis. And until we meet again, I am Tom.Hatsis, reminding you that you free your mind by using your brain and opening your soul to the power of the goddess, which is all around us, whether we choose to believe it or not. Peace.